evening, everyone, and welcome to Everything Vaguely Paranormal. I'm Shelley Pruitt, and my partners in the paranormal, Mr. Blake Smith and Mr. Ryan Roberts. Hi, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good evening. I haven't done an accent in a long time, so I figured I needed to do an accent tonight.
DeEtte Ranae denied.
Oh my lord!
So just gonna.
Yeah.
It's Black Moon energy. Black Moon energy. I'm still getting rid of that
nuts.
shit.
That's nuts. I'm with you. It's been a very chaotic 48 hours, and so. Of course, so now we need to recenter and refocus, and we have a great guest for that tonight because
Wait, so we chose this guest to refocus and recenter?
Yes, because she's fabulous. We need a fabulous guest to put us back on track. Well, you guys, I know that we have gotten to hang out with this guest, and we just absolutely adore her. She is fantastically talented, and probably one of my favorite people to get to see at places because she always has such a good energy. She's very positive, and she always brings her granddaughter who we always go and get tattoos from because, you know, the kid's good at it and she knows how to sell those tattoos. But our guest tonight is spiritual teacher and psychic medium, Miss DeEtte Ranae. And if you have not stopped by her website, her Facebook page to go and check her out, you need to do it. So let's go ahead and let's talk to our guest tonight, Miss DeEtte Ranae. Hi, Diva. How are you?
You picked me.
I picked you.
I say that only because we know you so well.
I know.
Yep.
I'm over here laughing so hard. Like, really? Okay, then.
Was there anything I said that wasn't true?
Good choice.
Oh, yes. We always make a good choice. And was there anything I said that wasn't true? You always have such a good energy
nothing.
about you.
You know what? Everything's true. I'll take it. Everything's true.
There you go.
Everything's true. We'll take it. Why not?
So you've had a roller coaster of a day too.
You know, it's been a day. It's been. I even lost you on the. There you guys are. I'm like, I lost all of you. So I kept talking. I couldn't see anything.
Oh no!
We can see you. You're still here. Hang with us.
I literally lost you on the screen. You went down below into a little box someplace that was hidden.
Oh,
that's because you're the most important thing on the screen. So just leave us down there. We'll be fine.
I got you back up. I can't. It's
okay.
The voices in my head. I have to be talking to the voices in my head. That's just creepy. You can't do that on a live channel. Then people know you're crazy.
Oh yeah.
But this is our channel. They already know we're crazy.
They
Anybody
know
we
that.
bring
They
on,
know
they
this.
know. They're well aware.
I love it. I love it.
So, DeEtte, we know that we had you on the other show that we did, but this is your first time on the live podcast on Everything Vaguely Paranormal with us. And so, for those who did not get to see the other interview that we had with you, why don't you tell them a little bit about you? Like, how did all this craziness and hearing these voices in your head start? And I mean that in a good way.
You know, I will tell you what. I'm actually writing a book now. Just so you know, I'm writing a book. I know. I'm like 12,000 words in, and I'm still in the first chapter. So this is, it is. Because quite frankly, that's probably the biggest question I get is how did this start? You know, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing the same answer. Well, I was born with it. Well, excuse the language. No shit. We all are. You know, I mean, we really are born with abilities. Everybody's a psychic. Everybody's a medium. And when I say that, I mean, because, you know, if your grandma dies, you can talk to her. You don't need me. You can do it on your own, you know. Everybody's got psychic abilities. It's your gut instinct. It's your intuition. It's all of that. You know, this is a no-brainer. The only difference between myself and somebody else is that it's something I'm supposed to do. It's my natural, my very natural, stronger path. You know, it's kind of like anybody could be a heart surgeon if you studied hard enough, but do you want the one that was born to be one or the one that just studied hard? You know what I mean? It's just it. So for myself, looking back, you know, the biggest indication I had was I kind of heard, DeEtte, shut the F up. You don't know everything. Most of my childhood, you know. But in my world, there was no psychics, there were no mediums, there was no spiritual, there was no nothing. So I was just a know-it-all kid, you know, that really didn't know it all. You know, I mean, I'd put my hand up before they asked the questions, you know, all of this crazy stuff. So, you know, by the time I hit probably 5 years old, I was terrified to sleep at night because I was scared of the dark, not because of the dark, but because I knew something was there and I could feel it. You know what I mean? I knew it was there. It was terrifying. you're trying to tell your mom about the boogeyman and she's going, it doesn't exist. But you're like, oh yeah, it does. You know what I mean? Because you know, and you know, that went on for a long time. And then I started to have dreams of people dying, you know. I mean, like if I had a dream, you had a 7-day sentence, you were done. You know, I mean, it got to the point where nobody wanted to hear if I was dreaming about them because they did not know.
Yeah.
Because I was very, very prophetic, you know.
I don't mean to laugh, but it's like I can just see like DeEtte calling people up, just like 7 days.
That's what it was. I would tell my mom, oh my God, I dreamed, you know, so-and-so died. You know, I dreamed, you know, I mean, in my late teen years, early 20s, I remember getting up and it bothered me because I'm like, oh my God, Mom, I had a dream of somebody dying. She's like, who was that? I said, I don't know. I was reading their, you know, looking at their obituary and I could see the picture, but it was a really fuzzy, a bad picture. Like you couldn't tell who it was. And I know it was on my dad's side. I was afraid it was one of my brothers, you know, specifically one of them. But I couldn't see a name. 7 days later, it was my uncle. And my mom literally opened up the obituary. And here's this worst picture. You couldn't tell who it was. And she was like, well, you got it again, you know. But really the biggest thing that happened to me was when my grandmother died when I was 9. You know, she died. And I always say this, like it ages me because there was a time when you had to be 13 or above to get into a hospital, you know, if not, you couldn't go upstairs. And I was 9 years old. All I know is my grandma was in the hospital. I didn't know what was going on with her. You know, I went to bed one night and in the middle of the night, she came to me and it was a dream. And she talked to me about, you know, we're walking through the hospital and, you know, and I'm not paying attention to her because what 9-year-old pays attention to somebody when you're in a new place. And we're talking, you know, she's talking to me about, you know, souls and heaven and dying and the body and all this stuff. And, you know, we're going to, you know, these doors, we get to the last door and she opens it up and there's this old lady in a bed, you know, and it's got some tubes and hoses. And she goes, who is that? And I looked at it and oh boy, that's you, Grandma. I'm confused because I couldn't tell. And that's when she really put it into more depth that was a body. It was no longer functioning. And this was what was inside of her body. That was her soul, and that she was going to go to heaven. Okay, I got that. And then basically she said, don't be afraid because that was what I would do is I would talk to souls. That was what I was going to do in life. I woke up, simply told my mom, hey, Mom, Grandma died. No, she didn't. You don't know anything. And of course, you know, 2 minutes later, the phone rings. And sure enough, Grandma died. And it wasn't her mother. You know what I mean? So it's not like she was a first call person. So that was my first, like, oh my God, this is what's happening. But at 9, do you pay attention? You don't. It went out with the bathwater is what it did. So it wasn't until later years where you start to dabble in, you know, tarot cards. You start to dabble in Ouija boards and pendulums and, you know, tarot cards. And, you know, I had curiosities. I got into that, you know. Then my sister told me that was really against God, that I would never see her in heaven. So I burnt it all, you know, and walked away from that, you know. But yet she would be the one that called me and say, hey, can you talk to this dead person? You know what I mean? So, and again, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I was talking to somebody and it was in my head, you know. So but over the years, you know, it was just more and more stuff that would happen. Like I was in a really bad relationship and I would see him cheating on me in my head, who he was cheating with. I mean, I'd see vivid details, but thought I was going crazy, you know, and it was all this stuff all the time. But it wasn't until I hit into my 40s where, you know, my life got horrible. It got complicated. I packed my stuff. I ran away. I actually ran away from that relationship. You know, got a call to the cops. He went to prison. You know, I went and hid in the Northwoods and went and started working at the original Famous Dave's up in Hayward, Wisconsin before it burnt down. And I put myself in the craziest place I could because I didn't know. I mean, I was Reiki, but I didn't know I was empathic. I didn't know I was a psychic. I didn't know I was a medium. And I just put myself in the biggest party there was. You know, you're looking at hundreds of people at one time in a building. And my emotions became very erratic. I couldn't control my mind anymore. My behavior, my moods. I mean, everything you hear about an empath, oh my God, I was it on steroids, you know? And then after the building burnt down, that's when I started getting into psychic stuff. I took my first class because I was bored. Just because I was bored. I mean, it was like, what else am I going to do? I ain't got a job. This looks interesting. So I started and it was messed up. It was terrifying. It really was terrifying because I can remember the first night in class, they're like, we're going to take turns. Of course, back then it was Facebook or voice, not video. And they're like, DeEtte, it's your turn. And I can remember having heart palpitations going, oh, I know what the hell I'm doing. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden I take a deep breath and go, as fast as I could. And you hear gasps and you're like, and as soon as it was all out, I quit. And I'm like, anything? Nope, that's it. And you'd hear somebody sobbing, like I brought through whoever it was, and vivid details, like holy cow details, like where did this come from? You know, again, I didn't know it. I just, you know, it just progressed from there. It really did, until one day it just clicked, and I had control. I had complete control. I'm able to turn it on. I'm able to turn it off. You know, you just go through life, you know, so. But it was 40 some years of being uncontrolled and feeling like I was crazy or insane or, you know it all, or whatever taboo you want to put on it. I was everything, you know.
That's so, great. It's so true, because I relate to that story so much. Whenever you're younger and you have no idea what the hell this is, and then here I am in mid 30s now at this point, and I finally feel like I'm starting to understand and get control on certain things. And when you have those moments for the first time where it's like, oh, blah 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 blah, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's totally right, yeah, that's because this person blah blah blah, and you know, you should sit there with your hands in your head in your hands like this, and you're like, how the fuck did I know that?
And it happens all the time, because, you know, I always tell people I don't, I left beforehand, you know, I don't turn on, you know, I don't just turn on to turn on. I'm not that person that, matter of fact, when I teach, I tell people, turn off, keep turned off. Your guides are never going to shut up. You know, you're not going to turn off that. But, you know, you don't want to see somebody else's dead people walking around. You don't want to get at somebody else's information. That it's creepy. I mean, come on, that's CIA stuff. You know what I mean? You walk into some stranger and you're like, oh my God, I got this information. No, turn off. You're going to go insane. You know, I mean, nobody needs all that coming at you, because when you're on, it's all coming at you. So it's like, learn to turn off, and don't be afraid that it won't turn back on. You know, that's a big mistake people make, you know, because they think, you know, this is how it is. Well, no, it's not. Shut down on a regular basis. Give yourself a break.
How do you teach people how to turn it off?
Well,
you know what? You know, we joked about it ahead of time, so I'm going to say this, and I'm not money hungry. I give a lot of free readings. Okay? Don't think I don't go there, you know. And I joke about this. You got to find what your turn on, turn off switch. Okay. I joke with people and say, I got to weight in my hand. The heavier it gets, the more on I'm going to be. You know what I mean? It's a joke. Why? Because y'all know. I mean, you want to read and come sit with me. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Because not everybody's got a lot of money, you know, whatever. So it's not that. But it's finding that thing, you know what I mean? Finding that thing that tells you, you know, some people can do like a light switch in their head. Some people, I say, put a hat on, take a hat off. You know what I mean? Like when you're on, take a hat off. When you're off, put the hat back on. I had one person out there in the field, and you can actually see him do it on some of the TV shows, especially when he first started. He would literally take his jewelry off and put him in somebody's hand. And he would state, this is to tell spirit that I'm on now, because I literally went, we need to teach you something. And this is because he always had his jewelry on. So he would take it off. He would be on. And when he was done doing the reading for the show, he'd put his jewelry back on, which meant I'm off now. I'm not doing this anymore. You know, so everybody's going to have that on off switch. But I really do tell people to find a physicality of it to begin with. I don't like the think in your head on off thing, only because, you know, that can kind of get misconstrued, you know. So, you know, women, take your ring, turn it inside out. It's something really simple to say, when my ring's like this, I'm on. When I turn it back around, I'm off. You know what I mean? If you're a bracelet wearer, I take them off to be on, I put them back on, you know. All those things. So it's really crucial, especially in the beginning, because you need to learn control.
I'm
It's
gonna
really
start like spinning my hat backwards, cracking my knuckles, and being like, "Let's do this shit."
Just a montage of the glove going on.
Yeah, it's it's the Batman suit up scene. It's just
well, yeah, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, think about it. When I talked about a heart surgeon, think about him when he's ready to go into surgery. Does he show up in his jeans and a t-shirt and his dirty shoes? Or does he go prep? Does he go get cleaned up, take a shower? He goes and gets scrubbed in. He's got all this. It's a process to start opening somebody's chest. You need to give yourself the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and kind of a little segue out of that, because recently I thought of something here with myself, and I am new to a lot of the stuff with mediumship and
I told you I'd take you on with a student, get you going.
I know, and I'm actually probably going to be taking you up on that pretty soon. But anyways, besides that, I'm going to get one of my questions answered live tonight.
I'm going to do it. We got 30,000 people that heard you say yes. Like,
your lips to God's ears, 30,000 people. So my question is it a responsible thing? How do I want to word this? Is it a good thing, responsible thing, or of the likes to do something possibly before one goes to sleep? Is this something that even when you're asleep, you could be unconsciously doing and not realizing it? Because I'll tell you what, I'm drained every day right now.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I wake up, I don't care if I've gotten 4 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours of sleep. Mm-hmm. And I have these crazy weird dreams. Yeah, I have these crazy weird dreams. So I think that's one thing. Is there a way?
You ain't turned off yet, have you?
That's pretty much it, Yeah, well, I mean, they say the flame lit and it's never gone out.
I love it. I remember just so y'all know, I did not know Blake was gay before February. I had no clue until you sat down.
You had no clue until February?
I had not a clue, Blake. I did not know until we sat down. Now do you understand when I did that reading why I was like pussyfooting around things?
You were so okay. So I'll say it since it was.
I can't say because it was your reading.
I know. So
I had no clue.
I sit down with her, right? And I'll get back to the comment. I'll get back to the comments in a second, peeps. But anyways, I sit down with her, sitting across from her. First thing, you looked at me and you were like, "You need to let me in. Let your damn guard down and let me in right now." And I was like, "You're right. Yes." Because I just a wall straight up. And so I did. And you were talking about relationships and stuff like that. And you held your hands like real close, almost like you're about to clasp them together. And you were like, well, see, there's this. And you kind of looked up at me and I nodded real slow. And you were like, okay, this guy that.
And then you should have seen me trying to tell him it was okay to put a dress on once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, he told us all about it. I was laughing. I was going, she didn't know that.
I thought it was hilarious.
I did not know any of it at all.
But you do.
Right after that, he just went all forward online telling the world everything and showed up in a wig and a great set of legs. I'm like, okay, I guess he's right in the last closet that he was in. Don't know who did that to him, but I am not taking credit for it. Honestly, had no clue. I guess honestly, guys, for the most part, it blows me away. And we'll get back to your questions, Blake. I see souls. I don't necessarily see a person's body or their sexuality or anything like that. Even like I can be in a crowd of thousands of people and I'll look at their eyes and I'll go, oh, what a beautiful soul. Oh God, you got some work to do. Oh, you know what I mean? Like It's really weird. I don't see all the rest of the crap we put out there, you know what I mean? In a general. So literally, yeah. Number one, I don't care if that comes, for me, being gay is not something you go around telling, hey, I'm gay. I don't give a shit. Why would you tell me that? Like, why is that my business? I didn't go around telling you I like men. You know what I mean? So why would you tell me you like men? You know what I mean? So to me, it was like, okay, not a big thing. Getting back to your question though, Blake, now that I took that way to right field.
You're good.
Yes, quite a message. There it is. Anyway, so going to sleep at night. Our souls, if anybody doesn't realize this or isn't on board with it, you have to realize that this is a meat suit. This is the suit we wear. Okay. Now we're going to push this a little bit further because we all say the soul's inside the body. Think about your soul being really big and your body just being part of it, kind of inhabiting part of it. Does that make sense to you? So we're going to kind of switch by what we normally believe in and realize the soul is much bigger than what you think it is. Okay. So what is happening is at nighttime, the body needs the rest. The soul does not. You know what I mean? The soul is connected to the body. It leaves the body. It goes wherever it wants to go. It does a lot of lessons. It's figuring things out. It's meeting other people. It's advancing. It's doing all these things. Because you have to remember, the soul has no idea of what time is. It doesn't have a clock. It doesn't have a calendar. Okay. So, and what takes us, what we say 7 hours, to them could be literally a lifetime. Who knows? You know what I mean? Or it could be just a quick moment. So what happens, especially when you're really open and you really want to learn and you really want to expand, you kind of go to sleep with that idea, do whatever you want. And it ends up being your biggest downfall because now you're telling them to do that. And what's happening is the body's resting, the soul's working. Okay. But I bet you, Blake, all night long, you're waking up and shift just enough to shift your body. I gotta go pee. Not even much. It's like 30, it's a tinkle. And you're like, you really woke me up for that. You know what I mean? Sorry, but it's the truth. You'll wake up 5 times going, why the hell am I peeing all night long? Like, and I haven't had enough to do with, a decent pee the whole time, It's really the thought, Shelley. Trust me. When your souls were, it's
I don't sleep yet. I'm up. I sleep for like 45 minutes at a time, and then I'm awake, and I'm going, why the hell am I awake? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I get it, But anyway, spirit will do that to you. And what they are doing literally is in the middle of the night, okay, they're doing their work. They're doing everything. They need to shift your energy. How do they shift the energy? They got to have you move a little bit. What's the best way to make you move? Either you get uncomfortable or you got to pee. They're going to shift your energy just enough. Well, the problem is in that dream state, your mind is part of the game. Okay. You have to realize you have a soul, you have a body, you have a mind, you have an aura, you have chakras, all this stuff is working together and all of it's very active. And when you're sleeping, you're out of your inhibitions. There's no, it's all subconscious. You're out of your way. So that's game time. Okay. So literally the body and the mind is not getting a good sleep because of the fact that the soul keeps shifting it. Does that make sense?
It's out partying all night long while you're trying to rest. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So basically what you do, and because a lot of times what it is you get, now it's like people go, okay, know what's going on. Oh, that's awesome. I don't want to stop that. I don't want to hinder my progress, but you don't have to. You literally tell them, you know what? I get it. I understand this, but you're killing me. You're killing me. So I'm going to give you so many hours. And then the rest is my time. And if you want to work during that time, that's fine. But you got to let the body have its period of sleep, that period of rest. So it's just kind of work out with them. For me, I tell them straight up, you know what? If you want me for the first half of the night, that's fine. You can have me for the first 4 hours. You have to let me at least be in the twilight thing. After that, when I finally look at you and say enough's enough, you leave me alone and you let me sleep, and they will do that. Or if they've had me up, at a different point, they'll switch it up, but I always tell them my body needs 5 to 6 hours of sleep. So y'all figure out how you're going to work it, but this body still needs to go during the day, and they listen. I mean, everybody says that they listen, trust. It's not going to shut you down. It's not going to quit the progress. You can literally go months without having dreams. It doesn't mean the work's not happening. It just means you don't need to remember it. There's no reason to retain it at that point.
Yeah. So you've never had one ignore those boundaries that you laid down and just be persistent and wake you up night after night?
They used to. It used to be like I went months without sleep, like feeling like I was a zombie because I was terrified to tell them to knock it off. Because when I finally did, they quit because I said, knock it off. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And guess who didn't open up in a dream for about 2 years? And I couldn't get them to open me up. I couldn't get it. It was like, I didn't want this. I just wanted a happy medium. So now that we found the happy medium, it works really well. I mean, soul spirits they don't want to put you through hell. They are really about love. Even you like, say you had a grandpa that was the biggest jerk you ever met. Like, I mean, beat you silly, the whole 10 yards. Guess what? He's dead. He's crossed over. He's the happiest, loving guy you ever met. He's going to come and give you smooches. And you're going to go, that's not him. Well, it is now because he's not in the body. He's back to soul form. And that soul's nothing but love. And they don't want to hurt us. Now, that's different if you go into a haunted setting. So anybody that's in the paranormal, them motherfuckers going to hurt you. And you know why? Because they haven't crossed. When you cross, you go back to love and light. Just because you died doesn't mean you go back to love and light. You have to make a conscious decision to cross over now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have people that choose, like, for whatever reason, I don't want to go there. I don't think nine times out of 10, it's not going to be because they have unfinished business. It's going to be literally because they're terrified. Think about it. The soul dies immediately. It's going on with all of its memories, all of its knowledge. It's closer to the living than it is the dead. There's a transition. It's not that you die and all of a sudden, boom, here we go. Mm-hmm. You died and you're looking at the body. I mean, I've had more people that jumped out of their body like quick death, and they're going, oh shit, screwed this one up. You know what I mean? That's the first thought. Motorcycle accidents are usually that way. Sorry to say, but they usually go fly out and then they look back and go, oh fuck. Can't get back into that thing, And it's always the comedian that does it. So I'm like, oh my God, thank God their loved ones understand the personality. Mm-hmm. But literally, no, I lost track of what the hell I was saying. But yeah, they listen. Trust me.
Okay.
But they can choose not to cross. But think about it. I mean, when people go, well, why wouldn't I? Religion. What's religion tell you? You're going to go to hell for anything?
Mm-hmm.
Fear of judgment, right?
I mean, fear of judgment. They're terrified. Right. A big thing, we always say, and we see it, when you die, they see grandma first or their loved one first. That loved one's on the other side of the tunnel. You know what I mean? When you die, there's a set of souls that are there. That's their job, is to meet you and acclimate you. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about when you come through the birth canal and you come here, what's that baby do? It screams. It's terrified. It's hurting. It's cold. It's terrified. It doesn't understand the environments. Everything has totally messed up compared to what they know. Yeah. You know what I mean? So do you think it's any different going back to heaven? It's the same process. That initial reaction. Think about going through it, coming out of the body, and you're out of the body and you're not, you see that body. Oh my God, I'm dead. Number one, instant confusion. So there's a team that literally meets you, team of your guides that First thing, hey, you okay? We got you. You safe? You're good, right? We'll take care of you. Let's get you to the tunnel. Let's get you to the light. When you hear a lot of people talk about the tunnel's real. That tunnel is light, but that light is really where you're processing back into heaven. You're processing back into the afterlife. You're doing a life review. You're doing all that stuff. Why you see your loved ones first? Because your loved ones are on the other side. So just because you're meeting with the guides doesn't mean you can't see your loved ones through the tunnel. It's just the loved one's not the one catching you when you get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, it's a process.
So have you ever run into, and I'm asking for a friend here, have you ever run into one that was like, no, I just didn't want to go because, I just wanted to haunt people? Asking for a friend. I mean.
Well, if you think about it, okay. And it's funny as hell
because I got a list.
And this is why I think it's funny, because this was an honest God thing happened. I talk to dead people, and I always tell them, you will never see me do paranormal. I talk to dead people. I don't want them to tell me boo. No way in hell. Ain't happening. Not getting the. I'm not going back to my childhood. It's basically what I was not going to do. I had no interest in seeing what was in the dark. Mm-hmm. And I had gotten this amazing student named Jamie. And she gets a hold of me. Hey, I did a reading for a couple of weeks later. She gets a hold of me going, hey, will you teach me? Yeah, not a problem. Let's do this. We start talking. Tell me about yourself, blah, blah. She tells me she's into acting. Okay. And the type of acting I do is I do paranormal investigations. Okay. I had to come into Jesus moment. I'm like, okay, well, I will teach you but I want nothing to do with your paranormal. I cannot go there because it's terrifying to me. And she said, oh, don't worry. I just need you to teach me the skills. Now I can do that, you know, and all of her teachings had nothing to do with the paranormal. Well, she was going to go to because she hadn't done any investigations being a medium yet. So she was going to go to this sanitarium. Of course, it's a sanitarium. It wasn't the first one wasn't a sanitarium. The first one was some evil house someplace. That was the first one.
Of course.
Of course.
Okay.
And of course, it's whatever time, and she calls me in the attic. Yeah, what the hell's going on? I mean, I jumped into high gear. I didn't think this is where she was. I didn't care. Instantly, I started talking to the spirits of the house. And the first one is, oh, no, he's just a really pissed man. He's looking a little funky now because he's really not in the body. He's lost his form. He's kind of a shadowy type of thing, but he's just really pissed. He's been around for like 200 years. He's had enough. He's just angry. He died angry. He's still angry. He's just going to be there to be an asshole to everybody. That's his mission. You know what I mean? No reason in the world. You don't have to worry about him. The guy out at the garage, he just like tending the land. He just ain't got nothing better to do. He's fine. I said, that shadow guy you really got in the basement, he's around the well. That's one I'd stay away from. So just as long as you don't go in the basement, you're going to be fine. And when he comes up, just don't even give him attention. He'll be fine. And we got fun. I went, oh my God, I think I just did my first kind of sort of investigation. Told her not to do it again. And then she went to the sanitarium and did it to me again.
Oh,
And that became an MO. But yeah, I have found more people because there's a place, it's called the Warren Legacy Foundation. And it's newer. They have just establish themselves from a different group. Anyway, but they are off stretch of Warren and Ed and Lorraine Warren. Okay.
Right.
They worked the one I work with is Joe Frankie. I don't know if you know him. He's all over the place. And we have this thing that I work for Joe. Okay. And so I work right under Joe. And when Joe has a case that he's like, oh, I'm not sure what this is, he gets a hold of me. He's like, hey, DeEtte, will you look at it? So I do a remote viewing into the location. He gives me an address. And I literally, I do pick up the address on like a Zillow so I can like go look room for room for room. I mean, I don't care who's there. Obviously, whoever owns the house, I can't find that information anyway. But I remote view into it and I see what's there, not there. And most of the time, it is that jerk that died angry that's still angry. And there's no other reason. I mean, we want to put all these reasons on why people haunt. And really, I don't think that's as diverse as people think.
Yeah.
You know,
I would definitely agree with that. I mean, I'm just saying, the friend is me in question, and I'm just a dick. So I would just love to like go move some furniture or something.
We'll do it different. We'll cross over because you're going to realize I can have both worlds. So I can cross over and get to heaven and get you're not getting wings because nobody does. Sorry, Blake. But anyway, but you're going to come back and do all that anyway. And that's what people don't realize. You cross over doesn't mean you don't come back and see your loved ones. I talk to more of that people that trust me. Oh my God, they're sick and tired of rattling the noise. What the hell did you do to the walls to keep hitting them all night long? Like they're drunk, And they're like, oh my God, is that? I knew that was coming.
Holy shit.
They do all this
spot on with like hitting the walls. That's no joke. They hit the walls at my house.
They do it all the time. Yeah. And it's usually just a loved one coming in to say hi because you're not listening to them. So now they become the local haunting. Because sometimes they're just having fun and sometimes they're trying to get your attention. It doesn't mean you're haunted. It just means 9 times out of 10, you got grandpa coming to say hi. You done something stupid and he's trying to tell you you're being stupid. You know what I mean? It's simple.
Right.
I had one. I literally had one the other night, like really, hardcore wanting to get my attention for some reason because I laid down in bed and I ended up taking a video after the fact. Of course, I didn't catch it on camera because I didn't know it was going to happen. But I'm laying there and I'm like on my stomach, kind of propped up on my phone. I'm doom scrolling at this point. And all of a sudden, my closet door that has never opened just goes. And I was like, oh, no, sir. Because I like literally, I have a rule in my house. Rule number 1 is don't mess with me in the bedroom.
Or in the bathroom.
Or in the bathroom. I'm naked in both and very vulnerable.
Yeah. Relationship issues.
But anyways, like I literally like screamed out. I was like, breaking rule number 1.
That's what it is. People don't realize you can. I stayed at the Grange. Is it the Grange? Across the street from Alamo.
The Minger Hotel.
Thank you. I couldn't think of it. I stayed there for a week while I was, doing my certification, and I'm hearing this is the most haunted place there is. And I'm going, okay, like, I'm here to learn how to talk to. I ain't gonna deal with any of these guys because I don't do paranormal. Remember? I'll never forget. First night we go to bed and here's the rocking chair, rocking. I said, "Oh, lady, knock your shit off. You either sit there and be quiet, or you get to hell out and find another chair." Chair never rocked for the rest of the week.
I think you gotta talk to him like that. Like you gotta be like, no, boundaries.
Yeah, she was like, I was gonna be entertained by that. Not in my room. No, go find another room. Go to there's lots of dead people walking up and down. This is the most haunted hotel in Texas. Trust me, you can find a new one. It's okay. But tell them to knock it off.
I do that. That's what I do. That's my MO. I'll be like, look, knock it off. I've had enough. I'm like, because I've seen things like at the end of my bed and everything like that. And I've been like, listen, either get the hell in the bed and go to sleep or get the hell out of my room. They never get in the bed. They always leave, which works for me. It's fine.
That's tell you something.
I've been sexually attacked by 3 men in my own bedroom that way.
Oh, no, actually.
I was informed it was going to happen. This is before I was all who I am now. I've always lived in haunted houses. Everybody tell me one of these buildings actually had like big teams come in. They're like, oh, this is going to go on. Nobody will sleep in this room because there's 3 men that were, they've been haunting this room for blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I never have. In fact, I went, set up my bed the whole 10 yards. First night, here I am getting groped. I went, okay, I am a taken woman. Get your hands. I wasn't, you know what I mean? But it was like, we're done.
Right.
It was the last time they ever touched me. It was like a lot of these spirits even a lot of the haunting ones are only going to do what they could think they can get away with.
Right.
Again, most of them aren't sanitariums.
What does that say?
Shelley's inviting demons into her bed. I love that picture.
Oh, it's good old Mr. Larry who we had.
I didn't know.
Week.
I don't think it was a demon.
That you're inviting demons into your bed, Shelley.
I just always give them a choice. Either sit down and shut up or get the hell out. That's the option. Oh, Lord, here they all come.
Then Doug said, Satan's mistress. Are you surprised?
Y'all
are on it tonight. I love it.
Yeah, you guys. I'll go back and read all your comments and get you later.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, they're aggravating me. I've woken up literally, and this was right before we went to a very haunted location in Texas with a handprint on the inside of my thigh that was much bigger than my hand. I'd taken a picture and sent it to these guys, and I go, and it was red, and felt like it was kind of on fire. It had heat to it.
Yep.
And I'm going, it was pretty big, and I'm going, okay, I don't know what that was, but let's not have that anymore.
Right.
So yeah, they get a little out of line sometimes.
I mean, and if you look at the difference between, say, a home that's haunted, per se, versus walking into a sanitarium or a jail, you're going to I'm not going to call it a different quality, but you're going to get a different level of spiritual interaction. You know what I mean? A lot of times what I will see, at least has been my experience so far, if you have a residential haunting, a lot of times you're not just getting, the bumps in the night or the knocks on the wall. People are starting to change maybe their behavior or their moods, their personality is starting to, they're almost being impressed. You know what I mean? And it literally is. And I'm not going to go demon entity, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go there because honestly, I haven't seen one yet. I've seen some things where I don't know what that is, but let's be real. Anyway, you find, maybe a spirit that's been around, they're very angry. They want to oppress somebody else, and that is literally just kind of imprinting themselves onto somebody else to get them to change their mannerisms, kind of take them down. They're finding humor in that, versus you go into a sanitarium or jail, you might get bruises and scratches and bumps and hit. I mean, you got a different level of person in life there. I mean, the person that's doing it at the house, pissed off grandpa's just pissed off grandpa. You go to a jail, you got a murderer. You got it's kind of going, where am I walking into, and kind of having your own back one way or another. If that makes sense. So knowing where you're walking into is going to make a big difference.
Right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Shelley. I was going to say, I kind of want to circle back around to something you said earlier, and you were talking about how your sister was telling you weren't going to get into heaven because of what you do.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. We're all in the South, and we all grew up in the Bible Belt.
Oh yeah.
And so
honey, she died in Texas, so trust me, I know.
There you go.
She lived there for 30-some years, trust me.
But you have so many people that are having these gifts that are emerging here in the South, and they're being told they're Satan incarnate. So how do you, what advice do you have for those people, and how do they navigate?
Wait for your sister to die and come in and tell her because that's what happened to me. Literally. Because literally, you know, I lived my whole life either hiding who I was, you know, I still didn't know who I was. You know, I mean, I was Reiki at this time. So I did energy healing. I'd been in Texas and did healing on her, and she didn't have a problem with that. And nobody in Texas had a problem with that because, you know, Jesus lays hands. So anybody can lay on hands. You know what I mean? They can do it in church. You can do it. I was good there. The rest is where, you know, if I was talking to a dead person that she knew I was a prophet, you know what I mean? But if I went and talked to somebody else's dead people, then we had issues, you know? Ouija boards, tarot cards, all that stuff. So religion will put you wherever they feel fits for them. Okay. And it's not knocking religion. It's just because, you know what, when you're raised and this is how you believe, it's a strong thing to get across. So for myself, what had happened now, you know, I'll never forget it. I was in Texas for a little over 3 weeks after she died because I was cleaning up her estate and cleaning up all this stuff, waiting for her ashes to come back. And I got her back home on a Monday or a Tuesday. Okay. And that weekend I decided I was just going to go hang out with a couple of friends of mine. One was a budding medium. Another one was a full blown friends. But then again, you know, they knew I had a sister. They knew she died. Other than that, they didn't know anything about her, you know, because why would I? I mean, she lived in Texas for 30-some years. So I just went to hang out. I just wanted to go and hang up. Let's do some energy work on each other, whatever. We did that. I was about to leave after about 4 hours. And then all of a sudden the bud medium stops and he goes checking out. And I hear, oh, hell no. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I didn't know what's going on. All of a sudden I get probably one of the best readings I've ever had. It's from my sister who's only gone for 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks. Literally just coming through to say hi. Okay, guys. I start crying. And I hear, why are you crying? Because you know who I am, and I'm never going to get to heaven and blah, blah. I mean, I'm going on. Like, I am never going to see you again.
Right.
Of who I am. I had a strong belief that this was me, you know. And I got a good old-fashioned Texas lecture from the grave. Just shut the F up. I was coming to heaven, blah, blah, blah. I mean, she was going as if this woman wasn't dead. I mean, we're talking verbatim. I can't believe his mouth went as fast as she was going. You know what I mean? And I'm listening to every word. And then all of a sudden I hear, who the hell are you? And he go, well, I didn't hear that. I heard him go, I'm Greg. I'm the person you've been talking to. I can talk to dead people. And I don't know what's going on the other side. And I go, what is going on? He goes, well, she asked me who the hell I was. And then he had explained to her, he was a medium, what he was doing. And that's when she looked at me and went, and all he said is, she goes, she's gasping. I said, what about you? She goes, because she was wrong. I said, what? She was then apologizing to me because she'd realized she was the person who had hindered me for 20-some years. From being what I was supposed to be, because I was listening to the belief of I was going to die and not make it to heaven. And all she did was she was going to push me from there on out. And literally, she's been gone since 2013, and she's had her back firmly on me ever since. I mean, literally, she died 6 months later. I'm like calling the cops, getting away from my ex. I'm moving up to someplace. Within a year, I'm in classes. A year after that, I'm doing my first gallery with 150 people. You know, I mean, she has been, and every time I'm going to start going to, per se, another level, I can feel her on my back, or she shows up in random places. So how do you get over it? You wait for her to die and tell you she So I'm not lying, you know, because that's what you believe.
Yeah.
That's what
she wasn't your biggest supporter in life. She was my biggest supporter in life as far as her religion would take it. But now that she's dead, no religion will ever stop her. No holds barred. She's going to support
nothing.
You.
No.
So I have another question, because you mentioned gallery readings. So
Yes.
when you do these, and
No,
this is
Larry, she
something
did
that
not. Sorry.
the what?
Larry asked, did she show up after Bad X? After Bad X? Oh, hell yeah, Larry, but not during. Go ahead. That's a whole nother-
So on gallery readings, and I've always
Mhm.
been curious how this works. How do you kind of hone in and figure out, for lack of a better word, who these spirits that you're talking to are coming to speak to? Do they just tell you a name? Do they describe the person? Do you just suddenly your eyes find them? How do you decide?
So everybody is different in how they do readings. You know, we all get our information differently. I'm not a big one for names. Okay. And I really contributed that to being a nurse. You know, your room number, your condition. You're not a name. It's HIPAA. You know, you can't have that. So for me, they come through medically a lot of times. I will get, and it's a first come, first serve on the other side. So it's kind of like the strongest personality or who needs to come through, because you can have 200 people in a room and they all want to talk to 5 different people. Clearly, I can't talk to that many in 2 hours, you know? So it's a first come, first serve on the other side. I always tell them, you know, who's going to come, who's going to come, who's going to come. Sometimes it's a cute little old lady that's very simple and the rest of the line's letting her through. Sometimes it's a very strong personality that's going to come through. For me, a lot of times they come through medical. So they'll, you know, I will feel within my body how they died. I mean, I've gone and had that, or felt like I've had that 107 temperature, and you can literally see sweat going down my face and I'm starting to glisten, you know. But as soon as I put that information out and we found the person it belongs to, all that goes away. So I felt like I've had a heart attack. I've felt the cancer in my body, and it's really weird, but it's just I'm allowing my body to be used by them, because what's a better thumbprint than how somebody died?
Yep.
I mean, I can look at you and say, I got Blake Smith here, 34 years, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. It's a whole lot of information. Great. And to me, this, and I think that's really cool when you get somebody can announce a name. Okay. Plain, I can say that, you know, Blake Smith, blah, blah, blah. Give the details. So-and-so is going to put their hand on. There's no emotion there. Oh, it's Blake. I got it. What's he got to say? You're going to give a message. You're going to go on. Okay. For me, when you really start to describe how they died, what they look like, how tall they are, what they had in life, blah, blah, blah. And I'm giving back. And when the first person, before I even start to get to the message, I probably got 30 to 40 details into who this dead person I have are. Because the first 20 details match half the crowd's dead people. It's going to be a given, you know. Then you get more information and more information and more information until you get it down to that one person that everything fits for. Yep. And that's how I work. But again, by the time it fits like a glove, there's no denying it, because I will look at them and I'll keep this. Yes, good. It's yours. And then you can kind of go in. But it's really cool because they know walking away, I could have said Blake Smith all day long. But once I give a complete description of Blake, his mannerisms, what he looks like, what he did for a job, how he died, his dog, his loved ones, his everything, you've just brought this person to life for somebody. Mm-hmm. So I like the way I work, but not everybody works that way. You know, because some people get on that stage and kick them names out right now. And I think it's impressive as heck. But
see, and mine is totally different because I work with dice, and so I have them kind of talk in the dice, and they will do. I've learned that they will also let me feel how they died, which helps me to connect to the person as well. Feeling the back of your head whenever they're like, "Oh yeah, my grandfather's back of his head was blown out," you know, I'm like, "Oh, well, that's what that feels like." Cool. But you know, it's like another one describing somebody putting their ashes on the ground, and it says box, angry, mad, ground. Yeah. And it's like they're just like, oh my God. And I actually had the person message me like 2 days ago. It was like, I picked them up, and I was like, thank God.
Yeah. Oh, I had one not that long ago. Just said, stop making me the damn center of attention. I'm like, how you doing? Oh, they don't want the urn on the mantle no more. Okay. Put me to rest, damn it. Like, we don't know. Yeah, and it's neat because everybody works different. Yeah. And the cool thing is you can work how you are today. In a year, I guarantee you won't be working the same. Exactly. Because our abilities change. They get stronger. You shift. How you get your information shifts. You know, it really is just a progression. It's like any job, you know, you the first day you start, you're going to be working different in a year than you are today. You know, in 5 years, it's going to be different. It's constantly going to change. It's constantly going to evolve. And you'll go through moments like, did I lose my mojo? What's going on? And you have to realize, oh my God, we just had a major moon shift or something. Okay, guess, you know, what's happening? Take a breath, do some meditation, and see if it's shifted a little bit. You know, and for a lot of mediums over the last year and a half, it sucked because these energies have been a pain.
They've been wild. Yeah, definitely.
A friend of mine got a hold of me. Did you go see the Mirror Show? Hell no. I did enough. I didn't need a bunch of rocks hitting me too. I started my covers hiding. Like, don't. There's a moon coming too. I got popcorn in a little DVD player hiding, like it won't find me or something.
I am kind of the same way. You know what, DeEtte, I'm just gonna come hunker down with you during all of this because I'm kind of the same way. Like I get all my friends ask me like, well, what does this mean? What does this do? And I'm like, I keep up with it so I can tell them, but I'm not out there like everybody's like, go get your moon water ready and charge your crystal. And I'm like, I'll cleanse all my shit whenever I'm not gonna go put everything out in the yard.
I don't have to do moon water. I got like 8 jars of different moons waters because I don't need to do it because everybody gives it for me. And I love that.
Yeah.
And then my grandson comes and opens it up and starts guzzling. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a fun night tonight, you know? He's got ADHD, moderate to severe. Sometimes you never, don't drink. I've literally looked at him and said, don't drink that one, drink this one. It's like, I feel like I'm in, you know, Alice in Wonderland sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever told anybody don't drink the moon water.
Which one would you? I got like 3 different moon waters going on in there. So he can drink from 2, but not the third one, because the third one he goes crazy. So
that's not good. That's not good at all.
I can't drink this one. Yeah.
Oh God. I think that's the most important thing though, is just finding out what works for you and all of this. That's the biggest thing, is because, you know, every time I put something out, you know, about, because I'm very much in healing journey and growth and you know, spiritual and stuff. Every time I put something out, I will get a message or two that's like, do it this way and do it that way. And and I'm like, I have to find what works for me. Everybody does. And that definitely goes with what I'm learning with mediumship, psychic abilities and stuff. That's super important.
It really, that's what I say in the first day of class. I do that. This is my golden rule. I don't want no mini means. I got me. I'm unique. My damn name's DeEtte. Dead people can't pronounce it, let alone the level. Please don't be me. I want you to be you. And all I'm here to do is help you with your abilities to find you and how you do it and give you some guidance, you know? And I also tell them, not everybody in this room is going to become a reader, you know, because that may not be what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You might take these abilities and become a spiritual counselor. You might start to learn to do expos. You might go into the paranormal field. You might just take your regular job as a nurse and literally use your abilities in there. There are so many different ways to use your abilities because God gave them to us just to navigate life and make life easier, you know? So it's like, don't think that, you know, it might be your thing to sit down to do readings. Who knows? But you're not going to realize that until you're towards the end or until you've finished or you've gone out there, and you might do it and then go, you know what? This isn't my own MO, but this is really where I'm at. I like the spiritual healing thing, and I do it through mediumship, or I do it through psychic work, you know? So yeah, figure out how you do it, you know, and no teacher should ever try to mold you in their image. You know what I mean? And no teacher should ever say you're wrong for doing it that way, because you're not. You know, I'm no more right to tell you you should be like me than I am to tell you this is what your sexuality should be. You know, it's just, we're all individual in on all those aspects.
Right.
I love that. And if they, and you, obviously you do classes, where can they find where to
well, I got one going this weekend in Wisconsin anyway.
I heard.
I have an in-person intermediate class going on this weekend up in Black River Falls, Wisconsin. So if anybody wants to jump in that, they still can. They just have to message me at medium@DeEtteRanae.com, or just go to my website, DeEtte.us. And message me through there. It's going to be the same email through there on that one. They can go to my website and they can see all the things that I'm teaching currently. All of those things I do online as well as in person. So a lot, I really do have an international clientele. I've got one lady that's taking my advanced classes in Ireland right now. I taught, oh yeah, Spain. I mean, all of it. I don't think when I first started, I was in Australia. So literally everything can be done online. I'm actually starting to write a class on trance now. So, going to trance mediumship and being able to really go to that distance. So, yeah. Yeah. So as new things come up, I put those up. So some classes I will teach in person, like my beginners, I do pop it in person. Intermediate, I'll do in person, but I still keep most of it online just to be able to meet, a bigger audience for that. So
Larry said he's your problem student.
He's also my biggest accomplishment because that man's medium. You have to own it. He sees dead people too now.
How about, you know what? I'm gonna speak to that real quick because that is one thing that I had the hardest time doing is just owning it. Listen, if you're seeing things and hearing things and you don't know how the hell you can connect with what you do and what the hell, all of that shit when you're readings and everything, just go with it and just embrace it because it took another one of my friends who's also medium as well. She like drilled me hard. She's like, you gotta quit. I'm like, yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. And then you, and then also Sarah Lemos as well. All three of y'all were like, just embrace it. And when I finally did, that was when this wonderful balance just came into my life. Yeah. And everything just started clicking. So, yeah.
Well, it's hard though, if you think about it. I mean, what's the biggest thing when you're a psychic or a medium? We're not part of our own conversation. I mean, it's coming through. You're mindlessly talking. You want to deliver the information in a nice way. So you're part of it. You know what I mean? But it really is none of your damn business, So you're kind of learning to run at the mouth, for lack of better terminology. But what have you been told your whole life? Don't run at the mouth. Think before you speak, blah, 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 which goes against everything in mediumship. It really does, You want to deliver that information in a way that is going to be gentle and accepting to somebody, because even the word, I don't keep anything back. If y'all might think something's bad, I don't deem a lot of things bad. Why? Because everything happens for a reason and divine timing. You know what I mean? So to me, there's not a bad piece of information, but how I deliver that can be bad, if that makes sense. So, I have to be part of it to deliver it in a way, but accepting the fact that now you have to retrain your brain to talk without thinking when you've been told your whole life to think before you speak. So as a medium, that's hard. I mean, you've got a lot of obstacles, a ton of obstacles from, am I making this up? This is all in my head. I shouldn't be talking. This is against her. I mean, there's so many things that say no, no. And you have to retrain yourself to say, it's okay. It's okay to be you. It's perfectly okay to be you. I mean, we haven't gotten a plague yet, but we're working on it. Like, you might have the rainbow, but we're taking the hearts and the clouds.
That's fun.
I love that.
That's totally fine.
I want to.
And also
play with clouds on it.
Also, listen to your pets, maybe too, because every single week that we do the podcast, that my little one is here and she just lays on this little blanket and is nice and quiet. She has walked back and forth. I've heard her from my grandparents' room back towards this way because, I'm in my grandparents' house. And then over to the hallway where I see somebody walk past all the time. She's gone snooped in my room, down the hallway. She is all over the place tonight, whining. So if y'all have heard whistling, that's probably her. She's going nuts.
Grandboy over here. I mean, can't top the animal, but keeps staring at a Winky from time to time.
Yeah.
Well, not
so listen to your pet too.
Listen to your pet and your naked grandchild. Keep going.
I love that. Well, DeEtte, we have kept you right at the hour that we requested you be on with us, and we know you've got grandkids in there that you need to obviously go dress.
I'm sure their mom and dad got them dressed by now.
Oh, okay. But why don't you tell them where they can find you, how they can become part of your classes, and if they need help, advice, how can they reach out to you and get that from you?
Fantastic. Well, my name is DeEtte, DeEtte. Honestly, at this point, you can Google me. DeEtte Ranae, just Google it. Sometimes it's the easiest way. And it's Ranae. My website, you guys put it up, is DeEtte.us. That's really probably the best way to find me. Because again, you can Google me and I'm all over the place, which is kind of cool. I am teaching. You can always look at on my website for all my classes, to get a reading with me, book a reading with me. It's really all there. If you have any questions, feel free to always message me. I'm good. Pretty much all my socials are either DeEtte or DeEtte Ranae. Again, Google it. Except for my Facebook, my name is Bear. So my Facebook is Bear, BearBair, because Facebook didn't like my old name, I guess. They didn't like They told me I was my own clone. Apparently after you get a lot of clones, then you're just a clone. Anyway, so I am Bear on Facebook, and that's okay. Because we're just starting over there, which is okay. Or if you're in Maine, you can find me in a week and a half in Maine. So,
and do you have any events coming up that people can buy tickets to?
Yeah, it's the big one. Next big one is coming up is Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention up at the Augusta Civic Center up in Maine, or Augusta, Maine, which is really cool. They just shared they've had over 1 million views, just for the event. So I know I'm so excited about this. Oh, we got the grandfather of Paranormal coming, John Zaffis. And they put him right next to Joe Frankie. They're back in it. I worked so hard to get them, put these two together. They're such good friends. And I'm right down the way. I'm with Larry on my BFF, which is super awesome. So we're going to be there. It is September 6th and 7th, I believe. Saturday and Sunday at 4:00 on Sunday. I'm doing the end thing, which is I'm doing a gallery at the end of it all at 4:00 on Sunday. There's another beautiful gallery being done with Patty Negri, Rob Thompson, and April Bassett. They're doing a trio gallery, and then I'm doing my own on Sunday. So there you go. That's the best place to find me in the next couple of weeks. If not, look, I'm all over Wisconsin, Iowa, wherever somebody will just pick me up. I got the thumb going. Let's pick
there
me
you
up.
Go. Well, thank you, DeEtte. And Blake, why don't you tell them everything they need to know about us?
All right. Hang with us, DeEtte. We're going to got a few announcements, and then we'll wrap this up. First, we want to let y'all know that Tuesday, September 9th, will be our next live Q&A. It has been a year since the last one, so get your questions ready. Also, if you want to support the show directly, check out our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/EVP podcast. For just $5 a month, you'll unlock over 400 Patreon exclusive videos, including the pre and post broadcast, which are the 30 minutes before and the 30 minutes after this live broadcast. So you're getting an additional hour with us each week. Your support from this goes directly back to the show and towards the adventures we bring you week after week. If you're not sure about joining Patreon, try it risk-free with our 7-day free trial. I'm going to try and get through this in only 3 breaths. Make sure to stay connected with us. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and many more by searching Everything Vaguely Paranormal and looking for the green sound wave. And remember, you can catch us live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. If you would like to meet us in person and come hang out, we've got a few more options the rest of this year. September 3rd through the 6th, we will be in Vernal, Utah for Phenomicon 2025. All the information and tickets on that can be purchased and seen at phenomicon.net. September 27th, we'll be in Independence, Missouri at the Masonic Temple with Epic VIP Events LLC with the Mysterious Sam and Mike for the Parathon. And tickets for that can be purchased at Eventbrite through the Mysterious Sam and Mike. Then October 18th, we'll be partnering with the Gregg County Historical Museum in Longview, Texas to lead their annual Haunted Walk downtown. So afterwards, we're leading an investigation on the inside of the Gregg County Historical Museum, and tickets for that will be available soon. Make sure you subscribe to our Eventbrite page so you can be notified when those public investigation tickets go on sale. We still have a 2-night event at the Old Park in October. And tickets for that, I think we have 3 left. So to make it easier, we've added all these links to our link tree, which will be on the Everything Vaguely Paranormal Facebook and X profiles Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, or you can search linktr.ee/Everything Vaguely Paranormal. We are grateful for your continued support. Every like, comment, share, and download keeps the adventures alive. So if you have a favorite episode, share it with your friends. And one of the easiest things you can do to help out our show and its rankings, if you have a Spotify account, head over there and simply download our episodes. That's it. Also, leave us a review wherever you're listening from. If you have a story, comment, or question, or you'd like to be a guest on the show or have us as guest on your show, email us at theevppod@gmail.com. That is THEEVPPOD@gmail.com.
Please go like, share, and subscribe to that YouTube page and give us a thumbs up for DeEtte Ranae being our guest tonight. And we want to thank you, DeEtte. Thank you so much for joining us. DeEtte Ranae, spiritual teacher, psychic, medium. Go take a class. Go see her at the Maine Paracon. Excuse me, I almost messed up. We want to thank you for joining us, DeEtte. Thank you so much. And for myself, I'm Shelley Pruitt. My partners in the paranormal, Mr. Blake Smith and Mr. Ryan Roberts, thank you for being here. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.